What's good, peoples? Big said, the industry cosign. My friends are better than yours. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. I am Big said, but I'm not the focus today, so it doesn't matter. This for the people that's here for the first time. This is my forum. My friends are better than yours. I've been in the game for many years now, and I just get sick of speaking to all these celebrities and executives because I have actual friends who are better at what they do than the people that I was always assigned to cover. So you're meeting one of them today. If you don't recognize him, if you already know him, then of course we have Hawaii Mike, Chef for Hire, LTD. I've known I don't even know when and how we met, but it's been a number of years. So as I was telling some of the people that's been here for the first time, this is my way to acknowledge people who have been doing things or are still doing things, and I guess it's another way for me to give them their flowers, so to speak, and make you realize. And my apologies, I have my computer set up a different way, so the way I'm looking right now is different. So I'm kind of uncomfortable. So I'm trying to fix it to make it more comfortable. But anyway, so we have Hawaii Mike. We're gonna get into his story. I used to do intros, but I always messed up. So I say to myself now, I'll let my guests introduce themselves, and then we'll take it from there. Hawaii Mike, how you doing today?
I'm great, bro. I'm blessed. Yeah, I mean, you already know my name, so I ain't got to say that part. But I do want to say I love how you started it off because my goal right now is just gratitude, and gratitude through celebration is something that I don't feel like we do. You know what I'm saying? We're always like coming up in the 90s, we was always stuck with, not stuck, but looking at what to do next. Like, oh, I couldn't believe we're here. And then next year we're somewhere else. And we just kept going and going and going. And now it's finally like we get to kind of look back and reflect before we build forward. So I applaud you for celebration and paying homage.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, we both been around for years, and you've also been on the journalism. No, excuse me. You're also on the journalism side, so you understand, the monotony of doing things the same way all the time, and after so many years, you just get sick of it. But I want to start because the good thing about this is that what I like about doing this is with a lot of people, even though we ran into each other a couple weeks ago, I like to literally catch up as we're talking because
Hmm.
we do so much in life that even if I saw you on an everyday basis, that doesn't mean I know everything that you're doing. So that's
Hmm.
another reason why we're going to do this now. I want to start with where you grew up. Actually, no. I want to go back to, I know why, but I want to give people the understanding of why you're Hawaii Mike as opposed to maybe like Brooklyn Bob or whatever. So why
Well, I
do
mean,
people?
that'll go into it. That'll go into where I'm from and where, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Uh,
like that'll go into everything. Like if I start where I'm from and I got that, I'll get to all of that. Like, so basically I was born in Cali in San Francisco, but my mom's took me to Hawaii when I was 5. So I lived in Hawaii from 5 till about 10.
yeah.
So grade school, like first grade to 5th grade. And basically just out there island hopping, chilling. Fun fact, my real name isn't even Mike. My real name is Dylan. Right. So some people know this. I've said it before on my podcast. And but my name is spelled Dylin. It's my dad's name is Eddie. My mother's name is Linda. So they put them together and came up with Dylan. But they like to pronounce it Dylan. And so it just got to be this whole, so the Dylon for real. Like when that came out, bro, I was like, shit, that was me. And while I was in the islands, and I'm not even a religious person, but for some reason, I don't even remember how, but like Michael, one of the archangels, he was like the strongest one or whatever. I picked that name as like my guardian name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the irony in that for me is that, moving out here and doing what I did and how I got the nickname is like, Hawaii Dylan would never have flown. It never would have happened, So like we were talking about before we started recording, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens as it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's funny because as I read your bio, and like I say, I always ask everyone for their bio because as much as I think I know you, I don't know you.
Yeah.
So from a professional setting, the reason why I ask for bios because people are like, well, you know me, you know what I've done. I'm like, that's not the point. The
Nah.
point is there's going to be something I never knew.
Yep.
One, the name I definitely didn't know because I was like, oh wow, And I think I knew the Hawaii part because, like I said, probably had a discussion years ago.
Years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew you were from the San Fran area, and what I want to do is take it from the top and for what you do and what you've done, I'm going to start with hip hop because hip hop is
Yep.
always the common denominator nowadays. Well, especially when it comes to like anybody I speak to.
Yep.
Grew up in San Francisco. I don't know how the scene was in San Francisco back in, when hip hop was first rising up. Because of course
Yep.
I grew up in the Bronx, so
Yeah.
I was in the thick of it. So, how did you come across, and what made you set your sights working in hip hop? I think that's
Man.
enough. But you
So,
get the thing.
I mean, rappers that like got to me somehow. Like I don't remember, like because I was probably on the radio and I heard that.
Yeah.
But when I moved back to San Francisco, it was like I think it was either 82 or 83. My father's a musician, right? Both of my parents were in music. My mother sang. My father plays music. He's in a band called Viva Brazil, and so it's kind of heavy just in the music scene in general. Like every day we were listening to all kinds of records, and everything could have been playing from some bossa nova to Adrian Belew to The Police to David Bowie to Yellow Man to Bob Marley and Peter. Like it was the spectrum. And when I got into school in middle school, it was like that was kind of just the vibe that was kind of starting to just happen. Like San Francisco, low key, was like a small New York, right? It's we have the bridges, we got it's kind of like similar vibes, and the way it was set up, we're super like multi-ethnic and diverse. And I can't even, man, I don't even remember like first records. But what I do remember is my pops buying me the 12 inches for Herbie Hancock Rocket and Malcolm McLaren Buffalo Gals. Like my dad gave me those joints. And then, by seventh grade, like I'm heavy b-boying, I'm all in it. And at the same time, like we're going to surf before we go. He drops me off at school. So I'm like, I'm surfing. I come out the water. I'm listening to hip hop. I mean, I'm listening to some rap shit, and they're listening to some like new wave shit. And I'm putting fat laces in my sneakers. I got windbreakers on. Like I look, I'm about to go battle somebody, but coming out of the water. So for me, it was like music and dance and everything was kind of already there. But hip hop as a culture, like, back then we also had to you had to be one of the disciplines, right? You had one of the pillars. You had to I couldn't write graffiti. Like I sucked at that. I tried. I had a little tag, a few different ones, but I couldn't do no, real shit. I couldn't DJ. I couldn't rap. So dancing was the thing.
I'm gonna say yeah.
But I was like, and it's funny because like, I was best dancer in high school, like all that shit. And it was my thing. We were getting paid for it by the time I think it was in 8th grade. We were getting paid. Like we'd go to like corporate events and dance and all get like $25 each. It'd be like 6 of us, things like that. And my friends were great DJs, like Invisible Scratch Pickles were the homies. My man Alex Aquino managed them. So we were all crew, like all hanging out. The dance crew was called like the Knuckle Neck Tribe or whatever. And so we kind of had ends in the space. I was almost a backup dancer for Sway, for MC Sway and King Tech, right? So that almost happened. Around that time, I was in the Do What You Like video, but I ended up on the floor. I got cut out. And I was sneaking into the clubs since I was 15. I knew all the security and stuff at this club, Townsend. And so when the Gavin Music Convention, we found out about that. I think 1990 or 91 was the first year I went. We snuck in. We made actually, hold on, man. I'm looking at the joint right here. There you go. Like 1991, the Gavin. I don't know if you can see it, but that was like literally right. And then here, actually, shit, that's 1992. That's the badge from 92. And so we were sneaking in there. First person I ever met in the music business that actually gave me a card was Bobito. Like he was doing the door at this Def Jam party when he was national director of radio promotions.
Yeah.
And we hit it off because my fake ID, my name was Michael Suarez. That was his best friend's name. You know what I mean? So he always remembered me. Fast forward when they did the movie, the documentary, I ended up doing the merch for them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and yeah, and I was literally, we were sneaking in just to see the music, you know, hear all the new stuff, see what was going on. They had business stuff. I was selling weed, bro. Like, I was literally in there selling weed. That's what I was doing. And in 92, we were at this showcase in the Wharf, and it was, I always talk about this one because prior to this, it was really New York, LA, and then you had like Two Live Crew and them in Florida and like Ghetto Boys in Texas. But it was the UMCs, New York. It was Black Sheep, who was representing North Carolina at the time, Arrested Development, Tennessee, Criss Cross, Atlanta, MC Breed, Detroit, Twister, Chicago, Farside, LA, Spice One, Oakland, and Sir Mix-a-Lot, you know what I'm saying, Seattle. And this was one showcase.
Wow.
Right? And so, you know, I'm in the bathroom selling weed to some folks, namely my homies Jameson and Albie. And they were like, yo, do you know what's going on here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm selling weed in the bathroom, yo. Like, of course I know what's going on. And they were like, nah, it's like, yo, this is the second year we've seen you. You got to hustle. You're our guy out here. He's like, would you come to New York? We'll get you an internship. And this was like February or March of 1992. I moved out in June. I drove out here with a couple of friends. We drove cross country. You know, I got hired to be an intern on the set of Diamond D Best Kept Secret. And I always want to pay homage to this, especially because we lost our brother last year. But Scoop, RIP, like, he was the intern. He got his job at Tommy Boy. That vacated the internship for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, like, so Diamond D, Best Kept Secret. I did college radio for that. That was the first record I got to work. You know, so I got put into some legendary spot, and it was like, you know, I was at an independent. It was all new, and shout out to Martha Reynolds, shout out to Jameson, obviously. But man, that's really, so when you say like, when did I set my sights on it? I never did. Like, it just was me literally living my life. And like, that's how everything I've done, honestly, in my whole career has been. There hasn't really been, I don't know if I've ever got hired off of a job interview.
That's funny because I've only had one job interview and I fucked that up. Excuse my language. So yeah. I know the feeling. Like everything that I've done in this industry were either through my efforts elsewhere or because somebody's like, you know what, I like what you're doing. Why don't you come over here? So I get it.
It's a natural flow. And I always say this, y'all. Hip hop is the most authentic expression of the modern human experience, right? So all we ever did was live our experiences. That's it. And reflect those things. And look where we at now. It's incredible.
I was just about to say that because you said 1991, and you know, some people that's watching weren't even born yet.
Yep.
And my question to you is, with that, when you were at that time when you were getting in the industry, did you imagine 30 years later still being involved in the industry?
Honestly, I don't think we were thinking past tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to explain the 90s to people. I'm working on a series called 92 Till Infinity, because that's when I moved out here. Yeah. And I believe that's when hip hop really started to transcend the streets and move into other industries, including the music industry, in a real way. But we were just going. Like, we were learning as we went along. You know, we were opening this door and be like, oh shit, we can go in there. It's like, oh, there's another level up here. Oh, there's another floor over there. Oh, wait, this is where it's like, and we're still doing that. I think we've just gotten to the point in probably 2024, 25, where we've traversed the landscape in almost every industry we've ever wanted to be a part of or affected, and they're in the penthouse. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think it's incredible. Like, that's why I think I would say, you know, the 90s, we're the, you know, Generation X, we're the translation generation. We're the last of analog, the first of digital. And we were the ones able to translate what was really happening and move this forward into something that really just became pop culture now.
And I'm still surprised because, like, I'm thinking, like, so next year is your 35th anniversary, and it's like, 35 years of doing anything is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
And I know you're just like me, knowing that you still have 35 years to go.
Yep.
And I think that's what the difference is, because as I said, I got into the industry in 87.
Mm-hmm.
87. And like you said, it was just a matter of, yo, this is fun. You're not thinking about what's going to happen in 5 years, 5 months, or even maybe 5 hours, because you know there's an open bar party coming up. But the amazing thing to me is that I definitely wouldn't have thought that. I think that once I realized that hip hop was here to stay as a business, because as a culture, I knew it was going nowhere. When we got wind of it in New York, when everything started, it was a fad. They considered it a fad like disco.
Yeah.
We knew it wasn't going to be a fad, but we didn't know it was going to be the $1 billion. What it morphed into, because, like you said, we were just having fun and we had no direction.
Nope. There was no anybody to model after.
No, exactly.
You know what I'm
R&B
saying?
was like, stay away from us. Of
Yeah,
course,
no, everybody was.
everybody was like, yeah. But
I was literally told by record executives to go look at the other departments because rap is a fad. Hip hop is a fad. It's going to go away.
yeah,
Actually, shout out to Vivian Scott Chu. Like, Vivian just told me she was one of those people that used to tell me that.
wow.
She literally used to tell me. She admitted that to me like a few weeks ago. We spoke, or a month ago or so. But yeah, it's literally like, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you were. If you were an executive in the music business and you had been there for a few years, you were looking at this because it lit on fire so fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when we're talking that 92 to like 98, bro, it went crazy. You know what I'm saying? From Death Row to $2.7 million Janet Jackson Busta Rhymes video.
Yeah.
Like, it went crazy, and that was only a matter of 5-6 years.
Yeah. And
You know?
it's still going on, even though earlier this year, the not having a hip hop record in the top 40 on the
Yep.
Billboard charts, like it resonated so much that people were predicting the downfall of hip hop, and I'm like, no,
That's a blessing, honestly.
yeah, but that's the reason why we succeeded as a culture, because the doubts were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is a fad. You don't know what you're doing. That's that street shit. But it's like,
Nah.
50 years later,
I mean, it's
around.
more, but honestly, it's more than 50 years. We know that, right? So I want to say two
Yeah.
things.
I think 50 as a number, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I want to say two things. I want to say, one, shout out to KRS-One, love him or hate him. He always said, rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live. You know what I'm saying? And I really think we have to define what hip hop is, because hip hop isn't the music. The rap is part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's one expression of the culture. So when we did the quote unquote 50th anniversary, that was an ode or an homage to rap. We didn't celebrate hip hop. They celebrated rap. And that's my issue, is we give it away to let people commercialize it to just get our dollars and shit. And then the other part is, I really want people to understand the birthday shit is to divide us. It's not to bring us together. There is no birth date of hip hop. If that party was to celebrate, to start hip hop, it would have said that on the fucking flyer, and it didn't.
Yeah.
That flyer is not real either. That flyer is a graphic for Sedgwick and Cedar. And hip hop, it's like saying, who started jazz?
Exactly.
Right? Or who started blues? You can't. It was started because it was a cultural evolution. And this is just an evolution of those cultures. Yeah. This is all of those things, you can go back as far as slavery and the slave hymns, and go into jazz, and go into blues, and go into bebop, and go into scat, and go into rock and roll, and go into jazz, disco, and all of those things. Like, without all of those things, we wouldn't have where we're at. The Last Poets, Gil Scott-Heron, was way before. Graffiti was before any quote unquote rap song was made. Now, if you want to say the first rap record on wax, there's a production date for that. Of course you could say that. The first rap show on the radio, you could say that because there was a premiere date. But to say the birth of hip hop, it takes away from so much of the history and the struggle of millions of people before, and it negates them. You know, we have to pay homage. Like, and to me, it's paying homage to the whole universe of it all. It's not to say, here, you can take credit for this and you're the one who found. No, we can't do that, yo. Right? We can't.
I'm definitely glad you said that, because I've always told people that hip hop is the only genre of music that you can mix with anything else and it's still hip hop. You take
Because,
other genres, you gotta think of a name, or you gotta.
yeah,
Hip hop is so, and that's what I love about hip hop, specifically the music aspect when it comes to labeling. And even you do that, you really can't,
nah,
because I've gone to I've gone to goth parties where
yep,
you hear people rapping
yeah,
to goth music,
yep.
but it's hip hop because it's not goth, it's hip hop.
It's hip hop. It's a
You know
derivative of hip hop, right?
exactly.
I use the analogy that anywhere there's a jukebox in the world, you're gonna find rap music on it.
Yeah,
Period. Right? It might be in a different language. It might whatever. If you go to a spot that plays predominantly rap music, you're not gonna hear all kinds of other genres unless they're mixed in. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, and it becomes hip hop. It becomes rap from that. So it's like the beauty of what we've done is, so the airlines when they show the maps of everywhere they go from their hubs,
yeah,
right? So if you put that in the Bronx, you start in the Bronx, right? Bronx at that point in time, you was born there way better than me. That
yeah,
was one of the most depleted zip codes in the entire country. One of them, it was ground zero, literally, right? The restart, it was a restart there. And so what happened was, humans, by how do we learn? We forage,
yeah,
right? That's literally what we did to learn the land, from leaving Africa and Asia when it was one continent and moving to learn what we could eat, what we couldn't eat. In the Bronx, everybody sampled.
yeah,
Foraging and sampling are the same exact thing. So this was just modern foraging, right? This was a modern revolution of humanity figuring out a new way to not just express itself, but to collaborate and to build new tribes. Because we're in a modern time of everybody's mixed somehow, somewhere, right? Whereas before, your tribe, you were one tribe, you were specifically from a place. But as soon as we traversed the globe and became nomadic, we mixed, period. Like, it's like trying to find somebody who's pure blood anything at this point. If you're in this country, it's like, nah. So even arguing about racism is a construct to divide us. Like, and so as we sampled, how we did all this, from music to style to fashion to vernacular to, I mean, everything, right? Every time we did that, we sent out one of those lines to that place, right? And what it did was plant a seed over there.
yeah,
And so now we have this bridge. Those are all bridges back to hip hop, right? And that's why you can go anywhere in the modern world and you see the influence,
definitely.
period. If there's internet, if people can get on the World Wide Web and social media, like, rest in peace, my brother Chimo Dude, one of the stories he told me that made me realize that was, he was sitting on a pier in Bora Bora, and kids ran up on him with a phone with his Instagram, like, that's you. You know what I'm saying? He's like, bro, I'm in Bora Bora. Like,
Yeah,
the fuck? Like, I'm not expecting anybody. I'm here by myself, because he always traveled by himself. He's like, I'm not looking for anybody to know who the hell I am. I was trying to get away from all of that. And somebody ran up on him, you know? And I think, to me, that is the beauty of this. That's why this is the most important culture. And when you were saying we're not in the top 40, it's like, all right, good. Now we got an opportunity to get together and start talking some shit and figuring out how we can build some trust, some solidarity, so we can collaborate and build our own shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The only problem, if it's a problem, but we have generations just with anything. It's just natural, and especially within hip hop, where the current generation grew up on something after we've already disseminated it and lived it,
mm-hmm,
and they've embraced it as their own.
mm-hmm,
But I don't think anybody's ever going to. And of course, our parents can say the same thing. Our grandparents can say the same thing on certain levels of certain things, where
mm-hmm.
they're not going to experience hip hop the way we experience it, because their experience hip hop while I tried to say something that was clever, but I couldn't think of anything. But the experience that we had, especially in the entrepreneurial way, because I would say that 90% of us that wanted to work in the industry when it wasn't an industry,
Mm-hmm.
we were actually entrepreneurs, not realizing that
Yep.
we were entrepreneurs because we were doing something we enjoyed that no one has done yet, and then we made it work, and all of a sudden, we've created many jobs amongst us,
Oh, for sure.
and I don't know if any other, even culture in modern times, of course, culturally, back in the days, of course, you had to, but culturally, hip hop has created so much, and not only that, the unity involved within hip hop, because and I know you've traveled the world where you go to a different country, you go to a hip hop show, they may not speak a lick of English, but throwing that Rakim or throwing that whatever, they know every lyric and they speak it better than you. So I always tell people I love the unity within hip hop where even if we did, even when in New York, when it was always Bronx against Brooklyn against Queens against Staten Island, all it is, I love that hip hop brought us together. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're fighting, but the fact that it's hip hop, we're
Yep.
together. We got to
Mm-hmm.
break away, talk about each other, and then come back the next week to do the same thing and still thrive is definitely a good thing. And I think that, and I'm sad that the current generation won't be able to experience the things that we experience because we're basically the trailblazers, like
Oh,
realistically the trailblazers. And
yep.
speaking of trailblazers, before I lose thought, I want to jump into the cannabis. We're gonna jump back into the hip hop, but the reason why I'm jumping into the cannabis aspect is because that's also your forte. And speaking of trailblazers, you were actually involved legally with cannabis at a time where um, it wasn't there yet, like it
Mm-hmm.
is today.
Mm-hmm.
Besides your love, maybe for cannabis, what made you realize that cannabis as a business would be something that you would take up and then thrive in?
Honestly, I didn't, and it's still. I mean, if I'm being completely, transparent, it's a terrible industry, right? Nobody is thriving in this industry, especially not here in New York and Cali. Like it's tough. Um, but it's the plant has been part of my life. Like my mom smoked with me in the womb. I've never not known a life without this plant. We moved to Hawaii because she was working with growers. Like that, like we lived in a van outside of the grow house, like for a while. You know what I mean? So it's like I've never known the plant as something that how they talk about it, right? How they talk about it negatively in society and they demonize it. I never knew that side of it. So like I got in trouble for smoking outside of my house as a kid. Like my dad was like, yo, you and your friends just come here, you guys stay here and smoke. And so when I moved out here, it was the weed was trash, so I started having stuff sent out to me so I could smoke good, and then people wanted to smoke from me, and then that's how I started selling out here. And then as legalization happened in Washington State and Colorado, people started looking at me like, what are you going to do? That's when I started exploring it. Like I did a documentary in 2015, like a 30-minute joint, not a documentary, but like a 30-minute piece on the cannabis cup out in Colorado for Revolt TV. And from there, just kind of like was in it in a more, I guess, around the political side of it. And that's when I started being more on the advocacy side here in New York.
Yeah.
And just saw like New York is the tipping point. New York is the capital of the world at the end of the day. And so what I was looking at was like, if this is really going to get to the federal legal space, this is the place to do it. Like we got to do it here. Let's make this work here somehow. Let me participate here. And so I just kind of got into it and started figuring out politics, found myself, up north in Albany and, sitting next to senators and governors and like all this. It was wild, bro. And even ended up in Capitol Hill talking about cannabis. That was my first time going to DC, talking to actual like congressmen and congresswomen out there about cannabis and banking. And it was very insightful. And again, things I never thought I would do. Like this wasn't like on my vision board. Like
Yeah.
my vision boards don't work that way. My vision boards more work like how do I want to feel? Like what do I want to like, say, where do I want to be? Do I want to travel? What does life feel like to me? Because honestly, I can't, when I close my eyes, I can't visualize things. Like I don't see anything. So it's, for me, it's all this feeling. And this idea of living free and open and authentic has been in my mind for like the past probably like 12, 15 years. Like it's literally like, and then I get to it now and it's like, oh yeah, gratitude and an open heart and all these things. Like as I'm going through more of like, you know, my growth journey. And so it's like I've just had to listen to my body and do what I do, and everything just kind of unfolds, bro. It's like this interesting path. Like it's like reading a book. You don't know what's happening in the next chapter. You turn the page the next day, and it's like, oh wow, shit, this happened today. You know, and that to me is being present, like being in the moments. And so it's like, you know, cannabis, I don't know if it'll ever be out of my life. It's always going to be something there, because me finding out our biological connection to the plant, I think is important. I think every human should know they have an endocannabinoid system, and there's receptors that are affected by the cannabinoids in the plants. So even in that part, I want people to know, like, you know, because again, it's knowledge of self to me, which I learned in hip hop, has been my way of life for the past like 15 years again, you know?
Why do you think, I'm just gonna like I said, I always go all over the place,
Oh, let's
but
go.
using that as an example, especially being that it's part of nature, why do you think, or maybe you know, it was legal? I mean, it was put in a negative light or made illegal.
Hmm.
Is there a story behind it? Because like
Oh,
it
for
is
sure.
a question because I honestly don't know.
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, the story is still unfolding live in real time with us. This country, I believe, is a social experiment for population control, right? This country is, how do we control the population by the fewest amount of people who will have the most amount of money, right? And so, you know, in 18, I think 49 or 50, cannabis was actually in the pharmacopoeia here in the US. It was like the majority of medicines had cannabis in it. It was like you can go back and see bottles and all kinds of things. Around 1910, 11, 12, 13, the Rockefellers, a few others started dealing with the pharmaceutical industry, right? Creating that pharmaceutical industry. Fast forward, alcohol prohibition, that ends. They need a new soapbox, and it became cannabis, right? Uh, and you know, in 1937, that's when prohibition happened. They just demonized it. They created this propaganda movie called Reefer Madness, where you know, it was about, you know, it was making you go crazy, and it was really what it was doing was playing into the white man's very, very, very fragile ego. And what's the most valuable thing they have? Their white woman. You know what I'm saying? And so don't, you know, this is gonna, the black entertainers, it was blacks, Hispanics, and Filipinos. We're gonna take your women and demonize them and do all this other shit. And that became this huge movement. And then there's so many different layers to it, but this is, you find out the strongest healer we have is our bodies. And if that plant is like a lock and key that wants to create homeostasis for our internal environment, why would they want to give that to us if they want to keep us weak, right? If they want to keep us confused, weak, anxious, and in fear, they're going to do all kinds of things like feed us misinformation, tell us how to eat improperly, give us processed foods and tell us it's good, give us microwave meals and tell us, oh, it makes your life easier. Meanwhile, all this shit is killing us. It's, to me, it's all kind of grouped together, and it's hard for them to unwind it. So what they're doing to me now is creating this idea of it being an industry, and we have this opportunity. I believe they're just trying to bleed us out, make us tread water for as long as we can, and most people start falling out. And then if they're going to ever federally legalize it, it'll only be the big players that are heavily funded with billions of dollars. They'll cherry pick a few of the small brands, and then it'll be gone. And it'll look like what the movie industry or the music industry looks like now, like 3 players that own everything, right? Which is going to be pharmaceutical or tobacco.
Yeah, and we know what happened with tobacco, or what's happening with tobacco, I should say.
Right. So, and again, now if you even look at the liquor industry, the spirits industry is on a decline, right? The younger generations aren't drinking as much, you know, so they've started investing in it. I don't know how far they are. I know Constellation was in it huge, which is Modelo, Corona, and a few other. They're big in it up in Canada. Budweiser for a while had a whole division, you know, exploring how to make beverages. Lagunitas has a beverage. So, you know, there's a company, the biggest company in New York is actually a manufacturing facility that makes drinks. They make apple cider and they make beers. And then they moved over into the cannabis space. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that gives you a hint of where this is kind of going.
Now, I know that along the same lines, because when it comes to cannabis, I'm still like, you know, I may have smoking like smoking. Anyway,
Smoking? You smoking?
yeah, it sounds like I was just smoking, right? Um, THC,
Yep.
because there's always I guess a mix up for people that don't know, because I've always thought it may have been the same thing somehow. I mean, this was years ago.
Yep.
And I also noticed that there are also a lot of THC products as well. For the uninitiated, what's the difference? Because it's supposed to be it's from the same plant, if I'm correct.
You talking about this stuff that's in like a regular store, like in a supermarket?
Well, in general, because I know, of course, they always make it marketable for whatever. But I mean, like the actual THC, from, because like I never knew. Of course, I like once cannabis became a thing, and I'm like, but THC cannabis, I thought it was the same thing, and it's like, oh, what. I just want a brief explanation, because I also want people to be educated.
Oh,
And
okay.
not by me, and not by me, because I'm the wrong person when it comes to cannabis or THC.
Yep. So THC is tetrahydrocannabinol, and it's basically one cannabinoid of I forget how many hundreds. I think it's 300, 400, 500 plus, or whatever the number is, that are actually in the plant. But THC is the main psychoactive chemical compound cannabinoid that's in the plant. But you also have like the non quote unquote psychoactive ones, like CBD, which is legal, right? You have CBG, you have CBN. So there's a bunch of different cannabinoids, and by itself, like they all kind of need each other to kind of activate and create different experiences, coupled with other chemical compounds that are found in all kinds of plants, right? Called terpenes, right? So terpenes, you know, essential oils.
Yeah,
those are basically terpenes from plants, right? So eucalyptus essential oil is the terpene, or you get pinene, which is a terpene that's in like pine trees. So if you go to a pine forest, you smell all that, and you feel kind of invigorated or refreshed or whatever you feel. That is also in cannabis as well, right? Or it can be as a terpene. It's one of the terpenes. You know, garlic is actually from the sativum family, and garlic, we know, has all types of health benefits, even cancer fighting health benefits. And that same element that's in garlic is also found in some cannabis plants, right? So one of the biggest tricks that's been played on us as human beings is the idea that we're not part of nature, right? That we're not animals, that we're not, right? We just happen to have ego, which creates a whole other mess of issues and becoming these sentient beings. Everything we need is in nature, right? Everything that ever was necessary for our survival is just in nature. Everything that we've built on top of that is either for some form of luxury, to extend life, to make things easier, to make things faster, to make things bigger, stronger, whatever, right? But again, they're not necessary, you know? So it's nature provides everything for us. And if we were truly allowed to do this, where would the pharmaceutical industry go?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what would they be doing? Because the pharmaceutical industry here in this country is a business. Like they get mad at us for, you know, selling drugs, but you guys are the fucking biggest drug pushers there are. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, look at the Ozempic shit. Look at the oxycodone shit. Look at like all of this. It's like they're the ones trying to hurt us, not anybody else.
And that shit is synthetic.
Super synthetic. And where was it derived from? Plants.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And then they go and try to eradicate some of the plants so nobody else can make it, so they monopolize the market. Meanwhile, they're hurting nature. They're hurting our planet, right? All for the power and the ego of saying we have money and we're rich. Yeah, but you're fucking miserable, bro. Like, what is the point? Like, at the end of the day, we should all collectively, you know, be contributing to the better good and health and everything of all people. But for some reason, other, you know, ego says I need more than you, and if I have more than you, I'm better than you. And it's like it's humans are crazy, bro.
Now I want to I want to kind of refocus back because like I also want to speak about your business because
Yep.
like you know we can go any and everywhere, but I want to be fair to you and I want people to know who you are and what your business is, so that way if anything else comes up after that, then so be it. But I definitely want to for people to know what LTD Inc. Chef High, like I don't even know where to start because you've done so many things over the years. So
Yeah.
I'll allow you to take a stab at where you want to start so that way people can have a better idea. And of course, I'll interrupt and steer it whatever direction I need to so that way, you know, we can stay on point because I'm the worst at staying on point, but go ahead.
Nah, for sure. I mean, you know, you heard the first job. The second was like Mobb Deep, like road manager Mobb Deep. I always want to pay homage to that because, like, man, getting to be on the road with those guys during the Infamous album and watching that album like age like fine wine, like I am so grateful for that opportunity and the things I got to learn by just being on the road in that kind of time. I went to the source after that, marketing, went back to the source again as a lifestyle editor. And again, like we were talking about off camera, I never really interviewed for anything, right?
Yeah.
I got the job back at the source doing fashion because I pitched the sneaker column because I wore sneakers all the time. And I was like, you know, look at all the dudes in that rap. They wear sneakers. Let's talk about them and show the new joints. So I was doing that at Source Sports. That turned into me becoming the lifestyle editor for the source. We started doing a biannual. We're going to do a biannual fashion and like product guide. And I was researching Japanese mags and doing all of that. And when I got let go of the source in 2002, I was like, well, shit, I'm just going to, you know, build on top of that idea that I already had. Cause I had another idea that popped in my head. And that's how LTD was born. And LTD, you know, I never wore FUBU, but shout out to those guys because whoever came up with for us, by us had it right. You know, like I say that every day in my head. I say it to people because that's literally what we're doing. We were just creating things that we liked by us, for us. That's all hip hop is. That's all hip hop is going like, oh, I love that shit. That shit is dope. Let me do that. And then you made it, right? And so the idea with magazine is live, LTD is live, translate, and define. We live our lives authentically. We translate through our creativity and we define culture by doing so, right? That's literally what LTD is. And it was featuring our people by our people, right? Like it's because you would see other magazines talk about our stuff and get shit so wrong. Or they would like
That still goes on today.
Huh?
That still goes on today.
It's even worse today because
Yeah.
go on the internet now, you don't even get audited anywhere. We used to get audited. We used to have to retract things and then put the, you know, correction in the next issue. And so, you know, we got to, you know, really just have some fun and feature. And it was like, I created a model where we weren't doing traditional advertising. The product pages were being paid for. We'd shoot them and lay them out, but Nike or Jordan or Reebok or Adidas were paying for those pages, but it looked seamless, like editorial, right? And again, it was a way to just really feature our stuff. I did it independently. I got into a terrible deal, and then I stopped. They took the brand, so I couldn't do it for a minute. And then started an agency with some friends, and we created Inked magazine at the agency, right? So one of the people was involved with.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody, in case people don't know what type of magazine was Inked.
No, I'm about to get into it.
Okay, okay,
So,
okay, my bad,
so with Inked, what happened was somebody knew, I forget who it was, but these landlords in Chinatown, the Fung family, and they one of their tenants was the second largest tattoo supplier, right? And they came to us and they were like, we want to create a high-end, like luxury feeling magazine for tattoos. And so we created a lifestyle magazine that focused on people who adorn their art, right? It wasn't a tattoo publication in what it looks like now.
Yeah.
Right. So if you see Inked right now, you go, it's like they have a tattoo parlor, they got a store. It's like, you know, it's tattoo artists on the cover. We turned every tattoo artist down. I turned Tommy Lee and Travis Barker down for the covers.
Wow.
Because those were expected at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And the first cover we did was Joy Bryant when Get Rich or Die Trying came out. You know what I'm saying? We shot her at this Hollywood mansion with this photographer, Tony Duran, that was like, I never shoot for premiere magazines. I only shoot high end and da 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 da. And we got him to shoot the shit. And we had, I think, Asia Argento on the second issue or the third issue, the woman that, you know,
Yeah.
R.I.P. Tony Bourdain. We had Scott Weiland, R.I.P. also from the Stone Temple Pilots on the second cover. Holy shit. We had DMX on the fourth cover, the last one we did, R.I.P. So
I was going to say this is a pattern, and I don't know if I want to be on the cover of any of your magazines. Let me stop.
Wow.
Be sorry.
I mean, well, I love you, Joy.
Wow.
And you know, wow, that's wild, bro. I never thought about that, man. Holy
As
shit.
you were saying it, I was like,
everybody passed away from that magazine because we only did the first 4 issues and then it got taken from us in a legal battle.
Wow.
Man, I had to like sit with that one for a second. That's crazy, yo. And again, I think that's why it's important to pay homage to our peoples, you know?
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, randomly, I forgot what concert I was at. I think it was a Kanye concert or a Jay concert, one of the two. I'm on the floor and I saw somebody waving at me and I walk over and it was the investor that invested in LTD. And I was like, bro, I was like, this is wild. I was like, but while I got you, I was like, I need to know something. I was like, bro, can you please give me my fucking magazine back? Can I please have the rights to this shit? He was like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't have the right. He was like, yeah, you do. I was like, yeah, just sign it over to me. Just give me a doc. He was like, no problem. I got you. And that's how I got to start doing it again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right place, right time, as we were saying before.
Oh, that's why I lead so much with gratitude and love. Like, because I know everything is supposed to happen. You're never not where you're supposed to be. Everything happens for a reason, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's tragic, even if it's bad, it's something you had to go through. And if you don't take the lesson, that's the failure. You know what I'm saying? The failure isn't the thing you went through. The failure is not taking the lesson, not learning from it. Because at the end of the day, you got through this shit already. If you can think about it and complain about it, you already got through the hardest part. Now all you're doing is creating suffering. That's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with nobody else or anybody else. You can blame everybody else. You can do everything else. But bro, if you got out of it and you're still alive to tell this story, learn from it. Don't complain about that shit. Like, and so we started doing it again, split. Then I split with my agency partners, and me and Hyun, we did it at 29 Green, the Etny space, and was rocking there. And things just kept going, bro. It's like just kept elevating agency stuff. Then I got into management through LTD. So LTD Plus became all these extensions, right? So LTD Plus management. With that, I managed DJ Clark Kent for the things he didn't want to take care of, because, you know, Clark, he managed, rest in peace, he managed to do so much by himself. Together, we managed Nigel Sylvester, but honestly, I really managed him. And I managed Sean C and LV, Mr. Flawless, who's now just goes by Greg Una, the jeweler. And, you know, at the same time, the cannabis stuff started happening. I was learning how to cook with it at the time. And all these things just kind of morphed into, you know, kind of where we're at now. And then Chef for Hire was born. And that's kind of just been the things as of late. And then now it's like time to bring LTD plus back and, you know, build community. And community, this came up during the pandemic. They were like, if you take out the C and the O and you put an I in front of it, what does it spell? Immunity, right? What do they tell us? Nobody has immunity. You know what I heard? We're all the same. We're all the same. What are we fucking talking about? There's 13 words with the word unity in it. Immunity is one of them. Opportunity. I saw an opportunity to communicate unity and build community. Because at the end of the day, unity is our capital. That's why it's in the caps. Because we're stronger together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we're so divided right now. As far as people, as far as culture, even in hip hop. That's why I talked about the birthday. That's to divide us. That's not to build community. That's to divide us. Oh, you weren't there. No, Puerto Ricans weren't there. Black. It was only FBA. It wasn't. It's like, bro. Then how can you say Kool Herc founded the shit if it was only FBA and he's from fucking Jamaica? But yet, so that's what I'm saying. Like the arguments, there's no validity and there's no like real substance to them except to divide us. And we just keep playing into that. And so for me, it's like, how do we reinforce community? And so LTD Plus Community is going to be 2026. It's a 1 year. It's the start of a new beginning. So it's not necessarily everything is brand new, but this is a refresh of what was before, right? So if we live, translate, and define and communicate unity, who's going to stop us? Because like I said before, we were talking about hip hop. Where haven't we gone at this point? Right? We're in every penthouse. Y'all, you remember, when did Louis Vuitton ever want us at any of their fashion shows? Ever.
They probably still don't, but you know.
Okay, thank you for saying that, right? So they probably don't want us. So why are we there? They need us, bro. Exactly. They need us. And if they need us, that means we don't need them. We need us.
Yeah.
We need us. We need trust. We need solidarity. And we need to be able to collaborate. That's what we need. And that to me is why I talk about community all the time and talk about it from that lens. And I'm actually working on something called the 111 Community Board, right? I want 111 people on a board with all different skill sets to come together to be like, how do we move this needle forward? How do we really do this? How do we celebrate this incredible culture that influences global popular culture, that everywhere around the world emulates, that has all the value and the most, the thing we can't really put a number on, influence, right? We can't influence. But you know why I know we're fucked up? Remember the Olympics? Remember breaking being the Olympics? What do we take away from that?
That we weren't involved.
That, or the chick from fucking Australia that messed it up, right? Or that it's not going to be in the 2028 Olympics in LA, right? When did we actually celebrate it? When did we actually go, bro, wait a second.
We did.
Breaking from hip hop it's a sport in the Olympics, there's competition. When did we ever think about that? I talked to Legs about that a long time. I asked him when it first came about. And I was like, take away all the negative stuff around it. If we went in a time machine to the Bronx in the fucking 80s and told y'all that breaking is going to be in the Olympics, what would you say? He was like, get the fuck out of here. Never. That wasn't. If anybody ever says, oh, I knew that shit was going to happen, get the fuck out. Never. Nobody ever thought that. So why can't we celebrate that? Right? Because if we celebrate it, celebration does a couple of things. It acknowledges something that happened, or a person, or or a product, or something that was created. It also is attached to love. It gives love. It's like giving flowers, paying homage, right? We need those things because then we'll feel valued. The only time we feel valued is by monetary gains from people that don't fuck with us.
And that's where the term sellout comes in.
Right? And then we continue to do that. And you'll hear it, like I was just watching the Eddie Murphy joint, right? He said it perfectly. They only allow one of y'all to go up at a time. You know what I'm saying? And then they make it this scarcity thing and think that that's the only place that I can have success is if I'm up there. and there's only room for one of y'all at a time. So
Exactly.
in order for me to get there, I got to tear you down to get there. I can't stand next to you. But meanwhile, they're standing next to each other even when they're fighting in public.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Trump and Elon. They're buddy again, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why can't we figure out how to do that? And again, it's just the divide and rule has been so ingrained that people are caught in the matrix, and that matrix is just our mind. It's we're voluntarily here. Like,
You're right. I want to actually, I'm going to veer off. I mean, the good thing is that there's so much to talk about, so many different directions to go in. But I made sure that I want to pinpoint it to the business, the cannabis, the hip hop. But you're doing something now that I've done before, and I understand the journey was a short one, but I'm going to get back on it in part because of what I see you doing, and I think that is even more important because, like, for us as a being, if we're not here, it doesn't matter what's going on.
nothing matters.
So I want to definitely hone on that right now because um, you've been fasting lately. Well, let me rephrase that. You've been documenting because I don't know how long you've actually been doing it, but you've been documenting the benefits that you've experienced doing fasting on your social media.
Yep.
And like you said, things happen for a reason because I would see you here and there. Then I saw you at the De La Soul listening. Then I started seeing, like, for whatever reason, all of your social media, like every social media, all of a sudden, everything you're doing is popping up now. And it's like, I haven't seen any of his posts like since the 80s. And now I'm seeing it all the time. And they're basically focusing on your fasting experience.
Yep.
And even with me, because I've been up and down in weight and in health. And we're at an age where, and I say this all the time, we get sentimental and we get serious about our health when one of our celebrity friends or somebody we know dies, and then a month later we're back on the same course.
Yep.
So that's why I want to definitely acknowledge the fact that you're speaking about your experience because, like, as they say, if it touches one person, then you've done a good job, and it's definitely touched me, even though I only fasted for 12 hours today. But I want to speak about that because I feel that is important, and I think that overall health is definitely important, whether it's mental, physical, actually all of it's important. But the fasting aspect, I know that some people don't understand or don't get it. So since you've been on that journey lately and you've been documenting, why don't we discuss some of that? Because, like I said, I think that that's very important, and I want to acknowledge that the good things that you've been doing from that.
So I want to step back just a little, and before I get right to that part, and say it's a journey of knowledge to self. And I learned, again, knowledge of self through hip hop. I was introduced to it through there. It got reinforced to me again, probably about 2010. My brother T-Bone gave me a book called the Vedanta Treatise. It's the systematic approach to life and living, right? It's like a book that's supposed to be before religion. And what it talks about is you are God. You are the Atman. You are the source. You are that. And the only way to find pure joy and happiness and live a prosperous life is internally. Everything else afterwards falls into place. We have no control over anything outside of us. And so numerologically, 2017 was a 1 year. I woke up one day and just decided to stop drinking at a party. Like, my ex-wife asked me if I wanted to drink, and I was like, nah. And that later that year in July, before my birthday, again, woke up, had an epiphany. I was like, I was just in search of. I found breath. And so breathing, we do autonomously. Most people don't think about breath at all until you need it. They're scared. They're out of breath. They got to exercise. They got to hold their breath, go swim, whatever. We don't think about breathing. But yet breathing, we think about eating. We can go out of food we're talking about fasting, right? How long can we go out with food? 30, 40, 50 days? Water, we can go without 3 days. Breath, how long can you go? You know what I'm saying? Even with the longest free diver, I think just did like 28 minutes, which is wild. Held his breath for 28 minutes. Crazy. but most people can't hold their breath for longer than 2 or 3 minutes at the most, right? But we think about it the least.
Yeah.
And breathing, first thing you do when you're born, you breathe in. Last thing you do before you die, breathe out. In between those two breaths is life. Are you living life? Are you just in the matrix? Are you, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Are you living your best life? Are you just kind of on autopilot? And so 2025 is a 9-year. So it's the end of things, right? And 2026 is new beginnings. My body, because I'm in tune now, I meditate every day. Again, this is a full mind body. And what I didn't say is in 2017, I also went and said it's mind, body, spirit, right? Separating each of them, right? How do they all work together so that 360, I'm in the best I can possibly be? And so fast forward again, now I can listen and I'm in tune with my body. My body just said one day, because I do intermittent fasting, I've been doing it for about 5 years. I'm usually on a 16-8 or an 18-6. And one day on a Monday, I was just like, I think I'm going to eat today. And then I just turned into a 72-hour water fast. And then I started doing more research and figuring out like, oh, wow, like our bodies are the things that actually heal us. And then you look at the food pyramids, you look at how they feed us in school, and you're like, but if you eat all day, you're constantly getting insulin spikes. Your body never has a chance to recoup nor remove the unnecessary toxins and dead cells and everything else that's in your body that might be harmful or turn into something harmful. And we need that. We need these resets. And then I did this in July, was my first one. October, I did another one. And then the last one I did, and it just happened to be during the last supermoon. And it was this incredible energy that just drew me into it. And it happened in my longest fast, which was 5 days. And so just learning the body and listening, now I want to get to a 21 day, like kind of like a full body reset and see where that kind of goes. But again, I'm just like, now it really reinforces that this is a social experiment in this country. This is the only, they feed us all this processed food colorings, dyes, sugars that they won't put anywhere else in the world, that are illegal in other countries. It is normal for us here. And not only is it normal, they suggest we eat it. And so they want you dumb. They want you lethargic. They want you confused and your brain foggy. They want you sick, because if you're sick, you're a patient, really a custody. You know what I'm saying? And that just helps their bottom line. Billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in that industry. So, for me, sharing it is really to say, like, if, like you were saying, we wait until there's a traumatic event, or we're told, which is a traumatic event, we're not healthy now and you have to change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
The issue is most people measure themselves against people who have already succeeded in their health journey and go, well, I can't start. How do I start? That's why I started talking about, like, yo, just walk. Like, instead of catching that Uber 10 blocks, go walk. You know what I'm saying? You can hop on a call and not waste time and, handle other business. Instead of taking that elevator, walk those 3 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Up or down, like, and start to incorporate that. But nobody's health is up to anybody but themselves. And so if you don't start taking care of yourself, nobody else can. And that's when the idea of the emergency on a plane thing clicked. The masks.
Yeah.
What did it always tell you? Put your mask on first before you help anybody else. Because you can't help nobody else if you're not here. Like, that was the most prophetic thing. I was like, yo, that came from the airplanes? like, that's a bar and a half for life.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense. Now apply that to your life.
Yeah.
If I can't breathe, if I'm not healthy, think about your family, think about your kid, think about the money you want to spend and the trips you want to go on and all of this. And the other part I want to share about fasting and doing intermittent fasting, I love food. Like my pillars are literally hip hop, cannabis, and food. Like I love food. I love to cook. I can cook my ass off. I'm a chef. Obviously, I got food businesses, but in order to be able to eat those things and stay in the shape that I'm in, I have to intermittent fast. I have to clear out my body and I have to create balance. And that's all life is about. It's balance. I'm gonna still do drugs. I'm gonna still do other shit. I'm not gonna drink, but I'm still eat crazy when I want to. But I also eat vegan a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like I make bomb ass lentil soup, and I'm happy as hell eating lentil soup. You know, I'll saute some cabbage and mushrooms, and that's like like eating a steak. It's all to me. It's such a mental thing, and that's another thing. Fasting, I'll say, it got me to really slow down and be present and understand, or at least ask the questions of why I'm eating. Do I
Yeah.
really need to eat right now? Am I actually does my body need this nourishment, or is it mentally my mind saying no? It's X time. It's 5 o'clock. You haven't eaten yet. You need to eat. Maybe I don't. That's how I started fasting.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. So again, like I want to share because I have so much gratitude for all the things that I'm finding. I'm 52, bro. People, chicks still ask me if I'm in my 30s, and I tell them I got a 33-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? My son will be 33 in February. Like it's for me, it, it I wouldn't trade this life for anything. And like you said, we got 30 plus more years to go. I want to be here for him. And I don't want to be hurt or physically not in a good space. And
Yeah.
with that, the last thing I'll say before I end this part is look at where your parents are at or were at if they're not here anymore. Look at the things that they've dealt with because those are potentials for you. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom had double hip replacement. I just found out I got like my hips aren't as large or whatever as they're supposed to be. I got onset of arthritis in them. And again, I'm not gonna sit here and go, I'm not doing shit now and be miserable. No, I'm figuring out all the fucking exercises I can do in order to strengthen the muscles around them so I feel good.
It's funny you say that because I've cut down drastically on processed foods. Not completely, but I've cut down because every time I go visit my mother and I go in her medicine cabinet, it's like 90 different medications. And I'm
Yeah.
like, first off, our bodies aren't made for these medications because they're all fighting each other. So I vowed that I don't want to take the same path that my parents took because doctors, as you know, same theory with the medical industry, pharmaceutical industry. It's like, we don't want you well because if you're well, we can't make money off of you. So we need to keep you as sick as possible for as long as possible so we can make more money.
Yeah.
So I started doing those things as well. And when I started intermittent fasting myself a couple of years ago, the funny thing is that I wasn't losing weight, but I was feeling better.
Mm.
The reason why I wasn't losing weight is because like I was still eating the same bad foods.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that out like the next time, and I picked back up on it where I did the 16-8. The most I've done I think is 4 days
Okay.
on a water diet, and like you're encouraging me because I'm like, okay, you know what? I was able to do it before. Why can't I do it now? And then speaking of the body, right before COVID, I hurt my left knee. Then my right knee said, "You know what? Your left knee needs company." So when I went to the doctor told me I had
Arthritis.
osteoarthritis.
Yep.
So I was like, "So what do I need to do?" He's like, "There's nothing you can do." And I'm looking at him like, "Wow," but he was right,
Right.
and I'm like, "Okay." So it's like,
Yes
you
and
know,
no, though. There's nothing you can do
yeah,
to stop it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
what can
exactly,
you
yeah.
do to live better?
That's what I mean.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I meant as far as because we're in a society where everybody wants um,
Quick fix.
the quick fix. Yeah, so it's like, so what I got to do? Like, what should I tell my insurance company? It's like,
Mhm.
nah. So I remember when the heaviest I've weighed was like 248, I think. I'm presently 212, and even that's heavy.
Mhm.
And when I grew up, I was like 145.
Yep.
So I realized this may have been like 10, 15 years ago where my back was always hurting. Even when I worked at the source, of course, after you worked there, I'm getting tired. My back is hurting. And my doctor's telling me that they could find nothing wrong. I said, I know what's wrong. I'm too fucking fat. So I started, when the weight came off, the back pain went away. So it's like we have the signs that we need. We just don't take them until, like you said, it's an emergency situation, or realistically, you have to get sick of it. And I know, like when my knee, I went for a walk a week and a half ago. I live in Jersey. I went to the city. I took the bus instead of driving. I said, let me walk. I walked for 3 hours. I have a stepper. It was 14,000 steps.
Yeah.
By the time I got home, my knee was like, you shouldn't have done that. So for like the past like for 6 days, my knees was like making me stop. But I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? Once the pain subsides, it's not going to stop me. I'm not going to go all out like I did, because you have to build. You have to build. So, like I said, and then seeing you fasting, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting all the signs. I just have to receive them and actually do it, because it's not like I don't know. I've done all these things before.
Yep.
I've lost 40 pounds at one time. I've gained 80 pounds, but the thing is, I have to look out for my health as well, because who else is going to, like you said? I don't have any children, so I have to take care of myself. I got nieces and nephews. I know they're gonna take care of me, but I'm saying in theory, like I live by myself. I trip, fall, bang. Like I gotta yell. I gotta get on the phone. It shouldn't be that way. So, like I said, and that's one of the reasons why after I did speak to you and I saw what you were doing, I was like, let's have that conversation, and let me also get back on my shit.
Yeah.
Because I want to be. I'm 57.
Yep.
I want to be 77. I want to look younger than I look now.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
Yeah.
So
but why not?
I can't do that. I can't do that taking these damn poisonous drugs and eating these bad foods and things of that nature. So
So the journey starts now, regardless of anything else. Like, and that's the thing, is we get caught up in what we haven't done. We get caught up in the past. We get caught up in regret. We get caught up in judgment. We get caught up in all the negatives, like self-talk. And it's like, all right, cool. But again, like we said before, we're through it already. I'm past all the shit I'm regretting right now. I'm past all the other shit I'm talking about. And now I want to look forward. And you just got to start. It's like the first step is the hardest.
Definitely.
With everything, right? And then it's just being consistent and being disciplined. But if I have a goal, right? A lot of people don't have that. You just set a goal. You just said, I want to be 77 and look younger than I do right now. Now all you have to do is write all of that down out. Write a bunch of steps down. Write a bunch of the things you're out, and let the universe take care of it from there. You know what I'm saying? It's but you have to listen. You got to be aware. And that's the thing that's tough to do in this country, when we're eating processed foods, when we're not taking care of us, when we're not sleeping properly, when we're watching too much of this, short form video stuff that's rotting our brains, when we're not, you know what I'm saying? So it's again, it's one of the, and I've struggled with that. Like, so I also want to make that clear. It's not like I don't have regret or stress. I don't have things I can regret or be mad at myself over, but I don't want to suffer either. So I have to make a choice. Right? Do I want to suffer and talk about all of this stuff constantly, or be like, thank you, I made it through all of that? Yo, that's wild. Yeah, I never thought I would have seen anything like did that. Or yo, thank you. That gave me another opportunity to do this. And it just starts to reframe. And that's to me is the start of the journey. It's just reframing things, changing our perspective, changing our approach little by little. Right? This is like, I was looking at old notebooks that I had from like 2009 and 10. I was already on this journey. I didn't start fasting then. I'm working up to it now. All of these things happen as they should and when they should. And again, that's why I'm so grateful for it. And I'm really tired of two things too. I'm really tired of people saying life is short. Like, I know why people say it, right? It's honestly, it's the opposite of why people say it now, though. People used to say it to motivate you. Like, you don't have forever. Live life to the fullest, right? That's what that means. It doesn't mean life is short. It sucks. It means live life to the fullest. I'm
going to die anyway.
Yeah. And the other part is, motherfucker saying, I'm old. You're programming yourself to say you're old. The things that you say out loud become the truth for you. Those are affirmations. You can have negative affirmations.
I'm guilty of that as well. But I say it along the lines of with the guys that I'm usually around. Like I'm old, not in the sense of like you said. I understand what you're saying, and I do agree. I've got to stop because I don't want it to be in a universe like that.
Yeah.
I say it more as I've got experience that type of thing, but of course people are not going to take it in that way.
Say we're OGs. See that. So also when we're talking about the younger generations before, like they would never know certain things. Part of the reason they're not going to know, we're not their OGs. We didn't have a chance to be their OGs. The internet is their OG, right?
Yep.
And again, part of the community thing is figuring out how do we connect our generations, because age doesn't come into the conversation when I'm around, right? When I'm talking to these kids, nobody's like, "Oh, you're old as fuck," until we start talking about my experience, and they can be like, "Holy shit, what?"
Yeah.
Right? Then they're like, "Wow, I had no clue," but I can still relate to you. So why can't we have conversations? Why can't we have relationships? Why can't we share information and this wisdom that we have now? You know what I'm saying? Like think about it. It's knowledge, wisdom, understanding. We have those things now. Who do we have to share them with? Right?
That's true.
Like that's what we should be fighting for. If we could connect with those younger generations, we'd be unstoppable because we all have similar interests. They're wearing the same sneakers we've been wearing since we were kids. We wear the same brand of clothes. Like it's just we might wear them different. The slang might be different. The rap they're listening to is different than ours, but it's still the same things. I want to know the why. That's where we really truly connect. Not the what, not the how. We connect on why. Why are you interested in these things? Why are you interested in sneakers? You know what I'm saying? And now that gives us a space for us to actually have dialogue. Once we can have that dialogue, bro, imagine having a squad that was 50s, 40s, 30s, and 20-year-olds. What couldn't we do? We have all the knowledge and experience to share with them. They have they're native to this world and digital right now.
Yeah.
Right? It would be amazing. But that's literally what the people up there, the powers that be, are fighting for us not to do. Right? And so I have to do my best through things like this to constantly fucking reinforce, like, because otherwise it's not there, you know? And the other part about speaking it is like I have to continuously speak community. And so also when we talk about the words and the affirmation, when people ask me how I feel or how am I doing it, I'm happy and healthy. Period. Because that's how I want my body. That's how I want my mindset. Right? It's always happy and healthy. I'm blessed. I'm here. Like, you know?
When people ask me, they're like, "Are you good?" I'm like, "I'm good even when I'm not."
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Even when there's something to not be good about, I'm great, bro, because I have the ability and the awareness to see it, feel it, and potentially work through it.
Exactly.
You know when I'm not good? When I can't answer that.
Yeah.
That's when I'm not good. Like when I'm not here to answer that for you. That's when I'm not good, bro.
And until that point,
always, yeah. Great. I woke up. Oh shit. I can move my hands, my leg. I spoke. My eyes open. I can see. I'm alert. What? I'm fucking great. Let's go. Like, let's go. What's today bringing me? Show me universe. Show me what you blessing me with today. Even if it's a challenge. Let's go.
Actually, it's always a challenge. It's just a matter of which type of challenge.
Yeah. Right. So it's beautiful, bro. Like I just, again, and so thank you for saying you saw that. And like you said, if it helps one person, you're that one person, great. If it helps two people, awesome. But if we can start having that dialogue and really building on that, like it becomes a whole different thing. This is, and I say this in cannabis, I say this in everything. Life is a personal journey.
Yeah, definitely.
How I taste things, how I feel, how I hear, it's all individual. You know what I'm saying? It's all individual. It's completely different. We're all the lead actors in our own movies. Everybody else is a supporting actor in ours. That's it. Yeah. How do we have these incredible times in these lives and live our best? It's not outside of you. It's only here. Like the work has to be here. Because even if I had all the money, the jobs, the work, and I'm not healthy, God forbid, I can't go out there, what does all of that matter?
Because you'd be using all that money for healthcare that's too damn expensive as it is, instead of enjoying life.
Yeah. Or this chick is only with me because I have money. What?
Yeah.
Get out. I don't want you near me because of that. Like I had an issue with somebody who told me to go get them a soda or something, buy it, and didn't even ask me, like, please, nothing, just expecting me to pay for it. You know, it's a soda. Like, it's not about the money, it's about the why. It's about your intention. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel I'm not the $1.50 for the soda is not gonna break my bank and I'm not gonna go broke. That's not the point. It's why wouldn't you say, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you expect that so much? So
especially when you can do it yourself.
Right? Yeah.
So, but that can morph into a whole completely new, different conversation. And yeah, so, but I do appreciate your time, your words, your wisdom, and everything. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't, or anything that may come to mind that you want the viewing public to know about?
Come on.
Actually, let me
Okay.
ask you: are you working on anything, or is there anything going on that you have for the future?
I mean, the thing I have going on is the LTD plus, movement and bringing that back next year. So I'm really literally just formulating all of that right now and seeing what that's going to look like, from how we bring the magazine back, what a website would look like if we have a website, what would physical spaces look like, and then celebration. How do we celebrate the things that we've done and acknowledge a lot of the people? So I'm trying to put together, something that lives in between a Wikipedia and LinkedIn kind of vibe that would, again, like, it's about giving people their flowers, and not just to say, oh, you did this, you did that. But one, we all put a brick in this culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have something in the foundation of this thing. Like you said before, this culture is not going anywhere. It is growing. It is going to continuously evolve because it's authenticity. It's rooted in authenticity. It may, go off on a tangent every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Take a wrong turn, a U-turn here,
it comes back.
But I think it's always going to be, because actually, I'm not going to say because I don't know the exact answer. I just believe it's rooted in authenticity. And I just think that the more we do this, the more we can really change the narrative and how the things are operating, because we have all the resources now. We have the knowledge, we have the understanding, we have the skill sets, we have the influence, which is the most valuable thing that they can't manufacture. And that we just have to start facing to ourselves. And so with those things, I think the more we celebrate, the more we pay homage, the more everybody's seen, and the more we can create that trust and solidarity, the more we'll be able to collaborate for the future and really own our shit. Because that's really my life goal right now. Is like, how do we build that unity within our community so we can own shit? Because what haven't we done?
True.
Like the Louis Vuitton, like, bro, we're not supposed to be there. And cool. Now that they want us there, why can't we create our own luxury brands? Like, look at, they're rooted in racism, bro. They stolen how many different prints from African tribes and made it their own. Gucci, blackface, but y'all still want to wear that. Like, I was commenting on Max B going to Gucci, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you just got out of prison. That's the first place you want to spend your money? Why can't you go, or not, why can't you? Why wouldn't the thought be, yo, there's mad designers out there. Yo, I got this whole wave popping. People fuck with me. Yo, let's go pay some kids 50,000, design a collection, let me wear it, and let's sell it direct to consumer and take orders. That's how we should think. That's building. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just have to get to the next part. And the last thing I'll say is, I just want to shout out to Russell, because I feel like he's the evolution of where we're going. Self-contained, community-based, sharing, not just in royalties and in offering that and people a way to buy into his music, but sharing the information, being a complete open book to it all. and just allowing all of that to go, and then rooted in positivity. I went to one of his concerts out here, bro. You would have thought that motherfucker was Stevie Wonder, the way people was crying. You know what I'm saying? People was getting off stage telling their life stories, bro.
That's a good movement.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just need more of those things. And also shout outs to Big Sean for writing the book on mental health. Shout out to Little John on his journey, right? Shout out to Russ for being vocal all the time about mental health. Shout out to ASAP Ferg for getting his workouts in and doing the runs now. Shout out to Nori for doing his runs and running marathons. How do we all get together and move that forward? You know what I'm saying? How do we get together collectively? Because once we start doing that, we're doing it individually. Once we get together and do that, that's when it happens. You know what I'm saying? That's when the tipping point happens. And that's all we need, because we have the influence to do it. We just need to be a little bit louder about it, because a lot of people do it in the shadows. And yo, I'm going to say this too. If y'all see me on social media, stop talking to me in real life about it. Start commenting, start reposting it, start putting that out there, because that's where the kids are going to see it. They're not going to see it just from our interaction. It's not selfish of me saying it. It's not me saying promote me. It's me saying put that. If you believe in that message, put that message out there, because other people that need to hear it. Period.
And sometimes we need to hear from people we don't know.
Exactly. Or people we look up to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got artists that'll see me in real life and be like, I'm like, bro, you got a platform. Say that out loud. You know? Because again, it's not to promote me, it's to promote the message.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I want to do. Because again, like, we all just need to be healthy, mind, body, spirit.
And I'm glad that that you agreed to appear and discuss that. Because like I said, I definitely want to discuss everything about you, but I saved that part for last because I felt like that was probably the most important, because without body, mind, and spirit, it doesn't matter what else you have. You're not going to be around for it.
You're not here.
You know,
You're just not here. Like, what's the point of having a bunch of money in your bank account that you can't do nothing with? And also, money is a fucking illusion. Money is not real. If we all went to the bank right now in this country, you couldn't take your money out. There's not enough money. It's not real. It's ether. It's not. You think, if Elon Musk wanted to take all his money right now, where would he get that?
not from my bank.
Not from anybody's bank.
Yeah.
Where are you getting $700 billion, right? Where are you getting that?
Mm-mm. There may not even be $700 billion in the world, as far as like, in hand.
Printed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, like, we're chasing things that aren't real. We're looking for all of these things outside of self for our happiness, right? Wealth is a construct created through violence.
Yeah.
Right? You know what's wealth? The Vatican. That's wealth. How did that happen? Robbing, stealing, pillaging, colonizing, destruction. That's wealth. You guys want wealth for real? Or you want prosperity? I want prosperity. I want to be prosperous in life. I want prosperity is reciprocative. Prosperity is supportive. Prosperity is communal, right? Prosperity, you could be as rich as you need to be, as long as you're giving and receiving. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's you got to remember, we're all energy. Everything in this life is energy. We're 99.99% energy, 0.001% matter. That's it. All the shit that we see is us creating it in our minds. It's us putting it together. That's all this shit is. You know what I'm saying? So that visualization and manifestation is legit real. And you're doing it already, even if you're in a negative space, because you're reinforcing and manifesting all the negative shit.
And it's sad that we, and when I say we, not you and I, but we would rather, deal with or promote the negativity than to accentuate the positive.
Yep.
But that's another reason why I have this platform, so I can give positive people a chance to spread their message to others. And, if I get one view and that one person goes out and does something, I've done my job.
Yeah. And like I said in the beginning, like, I appreciate you paying homage, and thank you for creating a space to do that, to acknowledge the people within the space, your friends. And we got a lot of friends, right, that deserve this kind of acknowledgement. So thank you for putting yourself out there. Thank you for, like I said, creating that space to do it, because if one person, 10 people, whatever, see this, that's great. It's going to help somebody. So I love you for that. And I love you regardless. And you my fucking dude. You've always been a straight up guy. So appreciate you.
One last thing. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, how can they?
I guess social media, if you don't have my phone number, or LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, well, social media is usually the, you know.
Yeah, social media. HWMK is my personal, Chef for Hire. LTD Plus is started back up on social media. Yeah, we're all out there. So you can find me. I'm not too hard to find. I think Google or any search engine, there's, you know, a few things that'll say my name. I mean, a few places you can go if you put my name in there.
Maybe a few hundred places, but yeah.
Like I said, bro, I'm blessed. Like, I've had an incredible career, man. Like,
yeah.
And really, like, I feel like I'm in my purpose. I feel like I've always lived through passion and been fortunate enough to that reflect in my career, you know? And I look at friends that just work for money and I feel so bad, you know, because you don't get to do what you love. You save a weekend or the nighttime or whatever else, and you're miserable throughout. And it's like, we can all do this. You can all find, if you truly believe in what you love, like, start there and then just go, like, just figure it out. Because again, nobody could, if I wrote my story down, people are like, hell no, you were selling weed in the back? No. Like, how did you, like, nah, you know what I'm saying? And then all of this happened after that. Bro, I got to work at the greatest hip hop magazine when it was at the height, when we were the #1 music magazine on newsstand. I got to road manage fucking Mobb Deep during the Infamous album. And just listen to the name, Infamous.
Yeah.
Like, that's infamous. That's infamous. I got to work with DJ Clark Kent. I got to work with Nigel Sylvester. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, and Nigel, shout out to Nigel, because he's probably one of my biggest inspirations. You talk about somebody who's been told no, or you can't do what you're doing for his whole career.
Yeah.
You talking about somebody who went out off of the deep end into his own pool and created a wave. Like, he just had collab of the year in a sneaker game. Like, and he's doing first BMX athlete on Jordan, and he doesn't even compete. And so, if you really believe in yourself, you can make dreams come true.
Definitely. And on that note, thanks once again, Hawaii Mike. LTD Plus, everybody keep looking out for that. Chef for Hire.
Yeah.
Big Set industry code sign. As I always say, my friends are better than yours. And if you think I'm wrong, show me your friends, and either I'll prove myself right or I'll prove you wrong. Which is basically the same thing. Or your friends might just be my friends. So until next time, same back channel, same, well, maybe not the same time, because, you know, but thanks for your support. And until I had to come back on,